What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update. A few bits and pieces to get through, and let's start off with Ali Gold's update surrounding Antonio Conte and if he will or if he won't be back this summer. And a few quotes here from his YouTube video last night, and he says, "Everything I hear is that Tottenham are going to back him. They have to. They've got no other alternative, especially with everything happening elsewhere." Then he does go on to say that Conte, I don't think, is ever going to be entirely 100% happy. I don't think that's how he is. He's a very demanding man, so I don't think they'll make him entirely happy, but need to make him feel that he can achieve things. And I think Tottenham are going to do that. So
yeah, I don't think
back in the Tottenham way.
I don't think he has ever been happy, has he, Conte? I can't think of a club where he's been like truly happy. So maybe he makes a fair point there. Obviously, there's a point between being unhappy and being unwilling to continue the job, and hopefully it never gets to that point. I'm starting to believe more and more that whether we get top four or not, I think he is going to be here next season, and at least see out the job. But I guess you got to think about as well past next season, because if next season, even if we don't get top four this season, he wants to see us progressing. He wants to see us. I don't know if just getting top four next season is that enough for him to sign a new contract? 'Cause that's what we're aiming to do. I don't think he'll sign one in the summer if we don't get top four. Maybe if we do, he will. I think at the moment, probably the situation will be is if we finish outside the top four, he'll just manage us for another year and see how it goes, kind of thing. But I do think there's a good chance he'll sign a new deal in the summer if we get top four and he gets backed.
Yeah, I think it just depends on if he gets backed or not, regardless of where we finish. Obviously, it's easier for us to back him if we do get top four. But I think that it all depends on the club's intentions with him, whether he signs that contract or not. And if he gets six to eight signings, like it's been reported that he wants, then there's obviously more chance of him staying for the foreseeable future. But the thing is that he said himself that he's not. He knows that it's entirely extremely unlikely or beyond the realms of possibilities that we do challenge for the title next year. So he's going to need to stay for at least 2 or 3 years if he wants to, go and challenge for that title with Tottenham Hotspur, doesn't he?
Correct. And I think maybe he'll aim for Europa League as well next season. I think he'll take it seriously if we are in it, which is a good thing. But that's also why Champions League is so important, because it gives us something also really major to fight for. I know Europa League's still big, no doubt about it. It'll be big if we won the Europa League, but there's just that extra bit of motivation for in the Champions League, isn't there? But look, I'm glad that the noises are that the noises seem to be, regardless of where we finish, we are going to be backing him, and that's what George Bannister seemed to say as well, which is positive to hear.
He did say it after a few drinks at the Ascot, though.
Yeah, fair enough. By the way, but it sounds like the other journalists are seem to be saying that now as too. So it does kind of. Not take the edge off it. It kind of makes me anyway feel a bit better about the end of the season, whatever happens. But obviously, I'm still desperate to get into that Champions League.
Yeah, I mean, it all just depends on if Daniel Levy pulls through on what he should be pulling through on. I think that's what it ultimately boils down to. And we know we've had the wool pulled over our eyes so many times regarding Daniel Levy and the promises that he does or doesn't make and whatever. So I'm just reserving my judgment for the summer and see how it goes, to be honest. But let's move on. Let's talk about some specific players and start off with Pau Torres. Javi Lloquera, he's a journalist from Spain, and he says Tottenham are interested in Pau Torres. A swap deal could be a possibility with Spurs giving Celso plus money for Pau Torres, but Fabrizio Romano has been talking about Pau Torres today, and he says that Manchester United are currently discussing with Villarreal as Pau Torres as one of 3 out of 4, or one of the 4 options as a new centre-back. No proposal has been made just yet, as it depends on Erik ten Hag's decision and Man United board changes. And he also says that Chelsea are also monitoring Pau Torres, and he does have a release clause in his contract this summer for 55 to 60 million euros.
I do kind of think in a way, he does suit Ten Hag a bit more than he would Conte in terms of just his style of play. He's a bit more, he's still can be good under Conte. I'm just saying he's a bit more of like a ball playing centre back than he is like an aggressive centre back. But obviously we do need we do need players comfortable on the ball as well in our back three. So he would suit us. And I definitely would love him at Tottenham. But I do feel like there are maybe other centre-backs a bit more suited to our profile. And I think he would be perfect for Ten Hag. So maybe it's something that will happen in the summer. But obviously, he's definitely one that Conte could do really well with him on the left-hand side of our defence. And I think it would make sense to do a deal for Lo Celso at this point. But maybe he would look at Gvardiol and Bastoni as two defenders who would fit his system just a bit more.
The only problem is that we don't have that tool, that bargaining tool with the player that they want. Giovanni Lo Celso wants to stay at Villarreal. Well, we'll move on to that in a second, but they want Villarreal. Villarreal want Giovanni Lo Celso, and on top of that, Gvardiol and Bastoni will probably cost more money as well.
It's also true. That's also very true. So that's also a reason why this deal could still work.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Giovanni Lo Celso specifically now. And Javi Joquera follows on and he says, Lo Celso wants to stay at Villarreal and the club want to buy him. They expect Tottenham to ask for a big price, but are unwilling to spend more than 30 million euros. Spurs are interested in Pau Torres and a swap deal is possible. Charlie Eccleshare says that Tottenham are willing to let Giovanni leave the club for a lot less than they bought him for. So that is positive. And Viajes Sports in Spain say that Sevilla have entered the race to sign Giovanni Lo Celso. Villarreal also interested in signing him. The midfielder wants to remain in Spain and Spurs value him at 25 million euros.
Well, and he scored a nice goal against Sevilla on the weekend as well. Good winner in the late in the game to win Villarreal the game. Look, sounds positive. Sounds like there's going to be suitors for him. So maybe we can get a bit of a bidding war going. That'll be nice. That'll be good. So we'll see how he goes in the summer. But he's probably the one who I'm less worried about selling at this point. It's the other guys who are more worried about.
The other guy, Tanguy Ndombele, man. How are we going to shift him? I mean, we've heard from our source that he's very worried about that with the wages at 200 grand a week.
Yeah, he's on a lot. A lot of money.
And he's got quite a bit left on his contract as well. He can happily keep going out on loan for the next 3 years and still pick up his wage packet.
Yeah, that's what he wants to do. Yeah.
Next up, Sam Johnston, the Mirror, saying, well, this is nothing new because we've spoken about this so many times now, but they're saying Tottenham are now set to sign Sam Johnston on a free transfer. The goalkeeper is deemed attractive to Daniel Levy and the club's recruitment team. He is viewed as a genuine competition for Hugo Lloris and a solid backup.
Yeah, be interesting to see if that means the rumours about Galini staying are not true, if we do sign Johnson, or whether we go for three keepers, because most clubs do have at least three, but usually the third choice is no one who's challenging for the first team. So, look, these rumours seem to be continuing all the time. So I think it does look like he's going to. I think it works for the quota and all that kind of stuff. So it does look like he's going to sign.
And last but not least, a player called Ollie O'Neill, a kid coming through the Fulham ranks at the moment. David Ornstein says that Tottenham hold an interest in Ollie O'Neill, who is a promising winger who is currently at Fulham. He's 19 years of age and a Ireland under-21 international, and he's been plying his trade this year in the Premier League 2 for Fulham. He hasn't made his debut yet, but played 23 games for the under-23, scoring 6 goals and 3 assists. Can't say I've seen much of him.
I watch every Fulham under-23s game. I don't miss one.
He's predominantly played in central midfield, but he has played on the right and the left of midfield as well.
Sure. Why not?
Bring him in.
No, he's 19 years of age. I'm happy that we're scouting good young players though, and that that maybe we're still looking to the future as much as Conte wants players that are in now. But look, I don't know.
It makes me think like a player in the Championship, if he's that good, he'd be playing at least a few games in the Championship at that age.
Yeah, you'd like to think. Is that 19?
Because look at that player Carvalho that's just joined Liverpool. He's of a similar age, and he's been playing week in, week out for them.
Yeah, but it's hard to judge players comparing their situation. Some players are still in the academy, and then they break in at 20 or 21, and they start really well. And some players break out really early, and it's just players have different journeys. That's all it is.
Yeah, and it's worth noting his contract does run out at the end of the season as well. So
there you go.
That's another one. But anyway, that is your Tottenham update today. Not much to get through, but we thought we'd bring you the news that has come about. So thank you everyone for watching us today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always,
come on you Spurs.